This is the 1960s. This is one of those icons. This is Italy. This car, it's beautiful. This is the definition of bella vita in Italy. Are you ready? Italy is full of icons: Ferrari, fashion, pizza, pasta, the Colosseum, the Vespa, and this right here, the Fiat 500. At 2.5 meters long, around 9 feet, and with only around 20 horsepower, this thing is small, but it was Italy's answer to the Volkswagen Beetle. There's no Bluetooth, no AC, none of that. You can forget about all that, but this thing is pure excitement, and we're gonna get in and drive it. Let's go. So what are we gonna do today? Well, we're gonna head out and do what Italians do best: enjoy life, la bella vita. In this Fiat 500, we're heading out of the city center of Florence into the classic hillsides, the hills of Michelangelo, the hills of Da Vinci, to just soak it all in and soak in the beauties and, yes, some of the difficulties of driving an Italian icon. This is, after all, a bucket list item. Add it to your list when you're visiting Italy. Something like visiting the tower in Pisa or the Colosseum in Rome. You should consider a Fiat 500 drive. And in this video, stick with me, because at the end I'll explain how you can do it on your next trip. Well, like anything in an old 1960s car, a lot of things don't work. We've had trouble with our horn, the odometer doesn't work, but you just gotta sit back and enjoy it and roll with it. That's part of the old style, and it's still a lot of Italy, this Italian style. You'll sense that too when you're here in Italy. Guys, if you're liking this video content, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below if you're not yet a subscriber. Just help get these videos out to a wider audience. This is the Fiat 500, and it was massively popular in Italy and throughout much of Europe in the post-war era. 1957 to 1975, it won people over. Lovable, small, affordable. It had the perfect mixture. And clearly this was the 1960s. There weren't SUVs yet. SUVs today, well, they dwarf these cars. In fact, even the new model that Fiat makes of the 500, it's much bigger than this little tiny classic 500. Production only ran for 18 years, but it secured a place in the Italians' heart. I guess that's because it was super affordable, economic as well. If you look back at any of the old black and white photos from the 1960s and into the 70s, at the old squares, the piazzas, the main streets, the via Romas, well, you're gonna see plenty of cars, and about 75% of them, well, they're this one, the Fiat 500. Okay, to give you an idea, there we have a modern SUV right here, Jeep Cherokee. They dwarf these little cars. Oh, listen to that motor. It's the Fiat 500, that rev is the perfect soundtrack for watching Tuscany go by out your window. Just think, at 500cc, the motor is 3 times smaller than, say, a Toyota Yaris, or 5 times smaller than a new Ford Explorer. But this car, the little Fiat 500, is perfect for getting out there on those lanes that go around Florence, or getting up on the hills and getting a sneak peek at the vineyards that dot the Italian landscape. But it's funny, I almost look like a circus clown with my legs wrapped around the steering wheel, my head slightly poked out of the sunroof, and I'm nearly sitting in the back seat. This car is super tiny. Hey, and just to let you know, if you haven't yet signed up, I'm putting out a regular email newsletter with travel tips and hacks and things like how to take a Fiat 500 tour around the Florence countryside and not stall the motor. Also, become a YouTube channel member. Click the join button down below. You get customized emojis for all your comments. You get prioritized replies to your comments. Oh, I love the sound of this motor. Also, you get first dibs, get early bird viewings of my videos even before they're out to the general public. This is truly a pleasure to drive. And think about it, this initially came as a 2-seater model, and then it became a 4-seater model. Speaking with some of my Italian friends, they tell me they can remember stories of when their dad would throw everybody in one of these cars. Think about it, 4 or 5 people and everything they would need for like a 3-day trip to the seaside. This car, well, it's kind of the more luxury model. When it first came out, it didn't have the indicators on the steering column. That came later. The wind-up windows came later, and then they came out with the padded sun visors. They came out with the sunroof as well. Slowly it started to get better. Still, it doesn't have your Bluetooth hookups for your Android Auto. It doesn't have cruise control. No, you can forget all that and throw it out the window. But this is something like as beautiful as like Michelangelo's David. This is the Fiat 500, and you're taking in all of this right here. This is the Italian countryside as well. The air is coming in, and yeah, some exhaust too. And really, driving this, you're rolling yourself back maybe 50, 60 years, back to the 1960s. It was Italy's golden time. Post-war, things were going on. Companies were really growing strong, like the Vespa, like Fiat, especially up in the north. Remember, Fiat's from Torino, up in the northwest of Italy. This driving right here, you can almost close your eyes and imagine we're back in Florence in the 1960s. Up here we have Piazzale Michelangelo. It's a great place to visit when you're here in Florence, but even all the better if you imagine yourself in a Fiat 500 classic like this. Oh. Right here we're at San Miniato, and this is the big church, the famous church that overlooks Piazzale Michelangelo. We're going to get the bronze statue, the copy of the famous marble statue of David at the Accademia. And down that way you see off over my shoulder, well, that's the famous cupola, the Duomo of the cathedral, the main Santa Maria Cathedral in Florence. And we're looking over the city of Renaissance, Brunelleschi, Michelangelo, Da Vinci. It's all right here, but today it's all about this Fiat 500. This is spectacular. So the tour ends here with a little bit of food. They prepared some pasta for us, and of course a little bit of Chianti wine. If you guys want, I've made a book, ebook on traveling in Italy, all the things you need to know, like renting a car, how to get connected to the internet, hotels, everything like that. You can download it, have it in your pocket offline. Also, I've made another e-guide, another e-book on eating in Italian restaurants, all the things you need to know about the primos, the first and second courses, about tipping, about reservations. Both of those ebooks are linked down below in the description so you can check them out. Should you do a tour like this? Well, there's only so much of walking around the city centers, in and out of museums, on those poorly paved streets that you find here in Italy. Your feet get tired after a while. Why not relive Italy's golden period? Get out here in the hillsides, get some wind in your hair and your face, and rent a Fiat 500. And here, right here's another video I think you're going to enjoy. It's all about eating in Italy.